I'm kind of working with a little bit of a Jimmy rig, so bear with me here. Unfortunately, I don't have enough dongles on my Mac. For those who don't know, MacBook Pros only come with 2 ports for some reason. So I can't actually use my my professional microphone, which is frustrating, but it is what it is, and the sound quality is okay from what I tested. But what I would like to share with you guys is 7 Mage Knight metal figures. I know that a lot of people really like to see these, and have a really unique way of sharing these with you today. I have quite a few metals that I've been working on. Some of them are from our fan-made set, which we'll get into, and then some of them are just plain old fun figures to play with. So I actually have my iPhone mirroring to my Mac so that I can use my iPhone. You guys can see my face, and you can see kind of my live spinning of these figures. But without further ado, I'm going to kind of show you guys systematically the different figures I've been working on. All right, let's see how this works. It should work out just fine. All right. Bear with me here. All right, so you guys should be able to see my Mac. But the first figure we got here is actually the Storm Golem from Rebellion. This is actually a Mage Knight metal. Let's focus in on that real nice. I can't tell if it's my screen or if this is actually the camera, but it does kind of have a brass look. It looks almost very yellow in this image here, but it's kind of got a metallic and brass look. I really like the Mage Knight metals because you can, of course, paint them however you want. And for those who don't know, the regular Storm Golem is kind of dark looking and doesn't really pop that much. And so this is actually on a Storm Golem base, and it is heavy, guys. Like, this thing weighs a substantial amount. It kind of plops down there. So it's a really cool figure. Storm Golem was actually one of the best figures in Rebellion when it came out, and it's just a really fun figure to play with. So kind of show you the up close. That's why I like using my iPhone like this. It's just so I can show you guys really up close, and the camera is actually exceptional, just picking up these details. All the little pits and holes and everything stands out. So that's the first figure I have to share with you today. The next figure is going to be another Rebellion figure, and it's actually going to be the Metal Wraith. Before I kind of spin this one around, you can kind of see that the crown really sticks out. Oh, that's funny, my iPhone's actually recognizing a face there. The crown stands out, and the skull is very defined. Actually, in person, you can see each tooth. I mean, it's a very finely detailed piece. Looks like my camera turned off here. Was not anticipating that. Yeah, so this figure, again, is just one of those figures you want to have in metal form. It for those who don't know, the Rebellion set was very, very low quality. It was the first Mage Knight set ever to come out, and has a lot of really cool figures in it, but unfortunately the sculpts look really bad. So what they ended up doing is they came up with a metal version of the figure to kind of get more players into the game, but a bonus side effect to that is the figure ended up being much higher sculpt quality. And so this really just shows off. You're able to kind of pull out all those highlights and everything like that with this figure. And I'm a big fan of the Wraith because of how strong it is. It's such a great figure. Let's actually take a look at these figures. So the first one was the Storm Golem. I'm going to put him back on the screen. Put those two together here. So I believe I actually have a Mage Knight database pulled up. So here's the Storm Golem. It's 115 points. Has, 13 to 10 attack for most of its clicks. It gets down to 6 at its last click, which is pretty much useless, but even down to click 8, it still has 10 attack and it still does 2 damage. So this figure is just an absolute tank. And it's really, really fun to play with. And it's just nostalgic as well. The Wraith, on the other hand, is not as expensive. It's almost half the points at 61 points, and it dies much earlier. But if you look, the Wraith does have pretty low attack, but it still maintains 4 damage on every single click until the last click. Not many figures in the game can boast that kind of stat. The speed is quite high at 12, with 12 attack, which is really playable, 18 defense, which is really great. Battle Fury means that she can't be captured, and then Magic Immunity means she cannot be hit by Magic Blast. So if you're in hindering terrain with this figure, you're pretty much set the entire game. She can kind of run in, hit someone, run away. Not to mention, she has an 8-inch range on top of this heavy beater. So the Wraith is actually probably one of the most aggressively costed figures in the game. It has range, it has Magic Immunity all the way through, Stealth all the way through, Battle Fury all the way through, really high stats pretty much all the way through for just a whopping 61 points. So really great figure. All right. So next here is going to be another Rebellion figure, but I did a little bit of a twist. And this is actually an Order of Vlad, which is a Rebellion vampire. And I actually found a sculpt that I really liked, and I decided to customize it, so I'll kind of bring this up close for you to see the details here. You can see the skull, the armor, the sword. Spin him around here. Same idea. Details, dark, black and red coloring, and all of that was pretty intentional. Let's see if we can pull this guy up. Order of Vlad, there he is. So the Order of Vlad is again another really fun figure to play with. Pretty much a heavy beat stick. The reason why I decided to not use the Mage Knight metal, for those who don't know, the Order of Vlad metal is actually still pretty low quality. It just doesn't look good. And so I actually had somebody sold me a stack of Mage Knight dials that had all the sculpts ripped off, and I got them for like $5, right? I got like 30 unique dials for really cheap. So I just wanted to do a little project to revive this dial, make this a playable figure again. This is a unique, and somebody decided to rip the sculpt off, so I wanted to redeem it and make it playable for future play. So this is still a really great figure. In terms of what the Order of Vlad does, again, much like the Wraith, very high starting stats, 13 attack, which is really good. Flight with 10 speed, which again, flight is just nice because you can fly over everything. 10 speed means you can get pretty far. Magic Immunity for the first couple of clicks means that you can't get Magic Blast and, kill this figure from across the map. So that's kind of nice. And then Command almost all the way through, which means you can get extra actions. And Battle Fury so that he can't be captured. Flight almost all the way through the dial. And then Vampirism almost all the way through the dial. And keep in mind, Vampirism is useless on click 1 and click 2, really. You really want it on these clicks. And so you can kind of get back into this, click 0 is the strongest click, but click 1 is exactly the same, except for you get 1 less damage and 1 less defense. And so if you can Vampirism back into click 2, you're pretty much sitting really good at this figure. And what's nice is, even if you're here and you hit, you can go here, and if you hit again, you can go here. If you hit again, you can go here, here, and you can revive your guy all the way up with Vampirism. It'll take a long time, but hey, you can do it. So I love the Order of Vlad, a really unique figure in that sense. All right, next on the list is a figure from Whirlwind, one that we don't see very much, and this is the Metal Mortis Draconum. So this figure is, again, very, very, very heavy. This actually was never released by WizKids, but Rel Partha, who technically sculpted most of the figures for Mage Knight, they actually sell this individually. It's not marked as a Mage Knight figure, but it is the exact same figure. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to make a metal version. For those who don't know, the Whirlwind version, the actual one that came in boosters, the paint job was just terrible on that figure. So I wanted to kind of spruce it up and I'll kind of pick him up a little bit so I can. He's so heavy, man. It's kind of. He's got skulls under there with high detail. You can kind of see the bone coloring in there. We've got that armor decoration. See if we can get inside there. It's kind of hard to show you guys. Sorry if this is a little disorientating. But yeah, this figure again is just an absolute doozy of how big it is. And the details you're able to pull out on the metal just make it look like a totally different figure, to be honest. You can still tell it's from that set, but it just does not look the same. So really cool figure to have, fun to play with, and again, a heavy duty metal. Oh, you know what? Kind of blanked. Let's go take a look. Mortis Draconum. Whopping 13 attack, which is really good. It's a pretty slow figure with 8 speed, stealth, toughness, so you got 18 defense, battle fury. And what makes this figure really stand out, unfortunately, it's just the beginning clicks. Once you kind of get after its first 3 clicks, it becomes kind of just a heavy beater that really doesn't do anything special. It has 0 range, but it has sneak attack. And with sneak attack, you can deliver double damage to the rear arc. So with 5 damage at sneak attack, that means this figure can deal 10 damage if you get in the rear arc and deal a successful close combat attack. And what's really good about this figure is that not good, but what's unique about it, it's the only figure in 1.0 that can do 10 damage in 1 attack. So kind of insane on its own. There are other ways to do massive amounts of damage, but this is the only way to deal 10 by itself. Yeah, really great figure. Alright, so now we're going to the last official Mage Knight figure. And this one's honestly my favorite. This is Pyre Spirit. Man, that light behind there, I thought it was going to add some detail, but it's actually kind of washing the figures out. Check out the detailing on this, the dark shadows, the bright green flames. This is a different take on this figure that no one else has ever had before. Pyre Spirit really kind of has this purple glow. And what I decided to do was, not me, but the painter who I worked with came up with the idea to kind of do this ghost flame, this green ghost flame. And it actually matches the figure really well. This is actually a painter's edition dial, so I just had to plop it on. This again is a Relpartha figure that was used in a Mage Knight set, but it didn't come in an official Mage Knight package, but you can get it and paint it if you'd like. It's right on eBay. I think it was called the Fire Demon by Relpartha, and that's actually what they ended up using for the metal. So this is actually pewter. This figure is so good. It actually, from what I understand, when this figure came out, it kind of shaped tournaments. So it has pretty weak attack almost all the way through. Like anything that's like 10 is okay. Anything under 10 is pretty bad. So starting out at 10 is not that great. It has Venom, Ram, Polearm, and Battle Fury almost the entire way through. So this figure just does a lot of free damage. It can ram into you, it can do Venom, it can Polearm into you. So if you walk into it, it can deal damage to you. It can't be captured pretty much the entire time, which is really nice. And it has a whopping 19 defense, folks. So this figure can almost never be hit by a regular attack. It is just very, very good at that, having 19 defense. You really want to stay on that first click. That 19 defense is really good. So if you can heal this guy up with a healer, you definitely want to do that. And then, of course, at the very end, it kind of gets this Venom, Ram, Polearm, Berserk. It ends up doing 4 damage at the very end, which is the most close combat damage you can do on the entire figure. That's cool. I don't need to minimize that. Looks like my phone keeps turning off here. This is a new feature on next newest update, and it's pretty cool, but it's a little buggy, and you actually have to be manually plugged in to get this effect. But all right, so the last 2 figures I have are from our new set, Mage Knight Invaders. If you don't know what this is, go on Facebook and find the Mage Knight Miniatures group. There's almost 2,000 people in the group. You'll know the group when you're in it. You'll see that it has kind of the Mage Knight logo. And we actually made a fan-made set. A part of that set is that we actually we crowdfunded a pewter Draconum and had David Summers, one of the original creators of sculptors of Mage Knight, help us make this. So it is a legitimate figure, and I actually have a finished version to share with you all today. But before we jump into that, I want to talk about the Eye of Ulrich. So the Eye of Ulrich is a figure from our fan-made set, and I'm going to plop him here. I really like this figure. This figure is really unique, and I think it's balanced in such a way that I think it will actually help people. If you ever want to make this figure, it actually makes the Necropolis sect somewhat competitive. So the lore of this figure is, when the Order of Vlad eradicated the sect of Ulrich, the Eye of Ulrich saw coming. Nothing escapes his vision. Every whisper or dirty deal is recorded. The Eye foresaw the impending doom of the Ulrich sect. He has been remaining in the shadows, only striking when it was necessary, awaiting the day for the House of Ulrich to resurrect to prominence. And this figure is pretty powerful. I believe it is only 68 points, so it's very similar to the Wraith, but it has a wide range of abilities, but it also has some negative side effects. So it has quickness, so it's very quick. It does not have flight. As for a vampire, we thought we could either give it flight or quickness, and we feel like quickness makes sense. Vampires, do have super speed sometimes in a lot of games or D&D and things like that. We wanted to give it sneak attack because that is the kind of the namesake of the House of Ulrich. And we wanted to make it limited invisible, it's in the shadows, it's hiding, and we wanted to give it one click of command. So this figure can kind of jump around the map for free, cannot be targeted by ranged abilities, and can deal a whopping 8 damage from the shadows. Very, very good. It keeps sneak attack for 3 clicks, and then it loses limited invisibility very early on, does get battle armor, maintains quickness, then it develops stealth when it loses limited invisibility, then it gets vampirism, which is nice, but when it gets vampirism, it also gets cursed, because this, we wanted to make it feel like this figure has certain powers with it, but those powers come with negative side effects. And what cursed does is if you take any damage from any ability that has magic in the name, so magic blast, magic retaliation, you actually take a bonus click. So that makes this figure very, very dangerous to be around any sort of magic casters. It does have Battle Fury most of the way through, and it does get Berserk at the end, so 8 speed, 11 attack, Vampirism, and Berserk. So you can kind of push this figure to hit for 4, and it wouldn't kill itself. Or excuse me, it does then go into a Demoralize click at the very end. So this figure is really good. It's pushing the boundaries in a lot of ways, but it has no range. So it only has a 90-degree arc, so it's almost like an assassin of sorts. We wanted to make this figure to kind of fulfill that assassin vibe that the Order of Ulrich really needed. And it kind of fits the lore really well. So I'll pull this in for a close-up here. Wish I had a way to hold this a lot easier. So if you look, even like the little eyes and everything, tough to show you. The eyes have coloring. The faces some of the faces are colored in. Looks very sharp in person, and the eye, the top, and the forehead is also colored in. Kind of gives them that demonic look, the very vampiric look that we're going for. And then for those who don't know, the Order of Ulrich is known to be fully plated in armor. All right, one more figure to share with you guys, and that is going to be the Mountain Isle Draconum. I worked with Mike O'Brien from Beard and Brush to get this one done. It turned out really, really well. So well, in fact, that if you look here, he actually decided to put in a magnet so that we can attach the sword, like so. think I have it backwards. Looks really sharp. I kept the hand axe because I just really like that hand axe with the wolf blade. He's got the skull kneecaps. He's got the little red. Oh, it looks like my phone turned off here. He's got the little red tassels here. He's got the wings, the gauntlets, the brass gauntlets with the little spikes in them. And what's nice is you can kind of just take this off. It is a strong magnet. You can plop on a double-sided axe, just like that. I personally like this look the most. I feel like it just looks really, really sharp. Gotta angle that right, but I don't want to mess with it right now. But yeah, it looks really good. And this figure is an absolute beast. So let's go through its stats really quick. Has flight pretty much all the way through. 270-degree arc. It is 118 points, so it is pushing the envelope a little bit. It has smite and sweep. It has ghost form, dodge, and toughness. It does have a berserk click at the very end where it dies. It has magic freeze, and then it develops something called frozen strike, which is a new ability that we developed. Some people don't like this, and if you don't like this, what I would say is just pretend like it has magic freeze all the way through, but we wanted to give it something new. So it's a really unique figure, 10 range as well, pretty powerful, really fun to play with. Yeah, so thank you guys for watching. I thought I'd share some of my Mage Knight medals. It's a really creative way to still be involved in this game and kind of produce content for this community for people to look at. And it makes these figures have a little bit more of a premium quality when you turn them into medals. It just is a little bit more exciting. For those who don't know, I have a storage unit here, but I've worked on, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, about 20 Mage Knight medals. Actually more than that, more like 23, I think 23 in the last year. And it's really exciting because the Mage Knight medals are really high quality. They're fun to play with. So let me know if you guys like this, give it a like, ask me questions. And if you're not in the Facebook community, I'm going to share my screen really quick. Oh, looks like my internet died, but regardless, find the Facebook community. There's lots of people. So if you found me on YouTube, please go to the Facebook community. Even if you don't have a Facebook, I believe there's a way to still be involved in groups. And I think you'll get a lot out of it. So anyways, let me know if you guys like the video. Definitely ask some questions, comment, and like, and subscribe if you want to see more. I kind of post periodically whenever I want, but I do actually tend to post a little bit more frequently in the coming weeks. Thanks, and have a great night. Bye.